To get into engineering mode or service mode, we press the arrow up and arrow down together for a few seconds and the screen will change. It now asks us for the pin number. The pin is 0202, so 0, 2, 0, 2, OK, and now we're in service mode. What we want to go to is field setting values, so we press the arrow up 3 times and we get to field setting values. So here is where we fine-tune the system to work it best it can for the system we installed it to, or the building we installed it to. The 10 series field setting values is all about the remote controller, so not that important to set up. It's just put limits in of what the end user can select on the remote controller. With one exception. If we go in here and look at domestic hot water tank temperature, the maximum setting we set here is going to be the set point if we got solar panel generating free electricity on site. So when it's free electricity available, the system will take the domestic hot water tank temperature up to the maximum value we're setting here. But apart from that, it's just limit what the end user can set on the front of the remote. Our 20 series is all about water law, or what we normally refer to as weather compensation here in UK. So here 20, 10 something, we set the outdoor temperatures between which we want the weather compensation to operate. So when can we accept the lowest flow temperature? So if it's 15 degrees or above in this case, then we can have a very low flow temperature on the heating system. And when do we need the highest temperature of the heating system? So if we say if it's -1 or below, then we want a high flow temperature. So you click OK there, it saves it onto the EEPROM. And then we can go down to 2020 and select what are those flow temperatures. So what is the lowest flow temperature we can accept, whatever the design is for this system, and what is the highest flow temperature that we need when it's freezing cold outside. So whatever the design call for. Important here on the 20 series is also if we're using external room thermostats. Is 2090 something, so 2091. Have we got an external thermostat for zone 1, i.e. a feedback on B22? And the setting you want to use, if you have it, is use signal only on-off. That's how the system will operate the way we expect it to operate in UK conditions. So we're saving that. If we got a second zone with a switch live back on B24, then 2092 is exactly the same thing for the second zone. But we finish that, we then select have we got the domestic hot water cylinder. The 30 series is all about the domestic hot water. So have we got one? Yes. So we want to use it, OK. Then we can fine-tune dead bands and how high up the heat pump will take it when the immersion heater takes over. And if we got an immersion heater in all Samsung manuals, in all Samsung controller, the immersion heater is referred to as the booster heater. So go into booster heater, have we got one? Yes. And then if the immersion heater starts at exactly the same time as the heat pump, we're obviously wasting a lot of energy, so it's always a good idea to delay it a bit. So for a normal 200 liter tank we normally delay it with 30 minutes, or if you got bigger tanks, maybe even the full hour. Then we come to Legionella cycling or disinfection cycles. So do we want to use Legionella cycling? Yes, normally here in UK we do. Then when do we want this to happen? And you can see here that the default is that it do it on a Friday. From my engineer's point of view, that's probably quite a bad time to run the immersion heater and the Legionella cycle, because when will you get the call out if it fails? Over the weekend. So I would put it to midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. And we can also see that the start time by default is late at night. That means that all the extra energy we store in that domestic hot water tank have now got the whole night on it to get cooler. If you instead put it to happen early in the morning, hopefully most of that extra energy we stored in the tank can be used for the first showers of the day. The 40 series field setting values is all about how the heating system works and how you fine tune that. And 50 series is everything else. So here is, we go in and setting what happens when the customer select outing as the mode when they go on holiday. How much do we drop the set points with? If they select domestic hot water saving mode, how much do we drop the set points? And so on, everything else. And if we then have solar panels generating free electricity on site, here is where we also go in to tell the system that we got free electricity available. So 50, 80 something, and you can see, have we got it? How much do we want to shift the set points with? Finish all that, we press the return arrow for a few times and we get back to the front screen again.